Hi, I'm Chris and welcome to Playing Games. Today we're going to play Gin Rummy. Gin Rummy is a popular two-player game based on Rummy, which you can find right here. Object. Beat your opponent by being the first player to score 100 or more points. Points are scored by forming sets of cards called melds and minimizing the value of unmatched cards in your hand called Deadwood. Basically, you just want to match your 10-card hand faster than your opponent. What you need: a standard deck of 52 cards and pen and paper for scoring. Setup. Choose a dealer and shuffle the deck. Deal out 10 cards to each player. Place the remaining deck face down to form a draw pile. Flip the top card of the draw pile face up to start the discard pile. Gin Rummy has a few important differences from regular Rummy. Firstly, at the start and end of your turn, you can only hold 10 cards. On your turn action, you either draw the top card from the draw deck or the top card from the discard pile. You can't take more than one card or any deeper discarded cards. In Gin Rummy, you don't lay out matched sets or runs until the end of the round. Keep them in your hand. Card ranks. The cards ascend low to high, ace through king. The ace through 10 are worth their shown pip values. All face cards are counted as 10. Gameplay. The non-dealer goes first, and on the initial play, they can't take a card from the face-down draw pile. Only the first face-up card in the discard. If they don't want that card, they say pass, giving the dealer the chance to take that face-up card instead. If the dealer also passes, then the non-dealer can take the top face-down draw pile card. Now the game alternates turns. Your turn will look like this. 1. Draw a card. Either take the top card from the draw pile or the discard pile. 2. Arrange matches in your hand. Your goal is to create sets, 3 or 4 cards of the same rank, or runs, 3 or more consecutive cards of the same suit. An example of a set are these 3 5s, or these 4 8s. An example of a run is a 7 8 9 in a row, all in spades, or a 10 Jack Queen King, all in diamonds. Again, the ace is the low card, so it can only go ace 2 3, not queen king ace. Thirdly, and until you're prepared to go out, discard 1 card. Place 1 card from your hand into the discard pile, ending your turn with 10 cards in your hand. Note, you can't rediscard a card you just picked up from the face-up discard pile. Play will go back and forth until one of the players makes their big move, ending the round. Ending a round. The round ends when a player knocks, goes gin, or the draw pile is nearly depleted. Knocking. You can knock if your Deadwood totals 10 points or less, meaning any cards that don't form sets or runs add up to 10 points or less. I could knock with this hand because the unmatched cards total 5 points. However, I couldn't do it with this hand as the unmatched cards total 21 points. If you can and want to knock, after drawing, discard your 11th card face down on the discard pile, knock the table, and lay down your melds and remaining cards. This round is over. Your opponent now lays down their melds and Deadwood. Again, the Deadwoods are the cards that don't form sets or runs in a hand. Your opponent will get a chance to reduce their pain by laying off cards. More on that in a bit. A round can also end by going gin. If all 10 of your cards form melds, no Deadwoods, you declare gin and lay your hand down. And this is great because you'll get a gin bonus. If you call gin, your opponent cannot lay off cards to reduce their Deadwood. Lastly, the round can end if the draw pile is nearly exhausted. If there are only 2 cards left in the draw pile and no one has knocked, the round ends in a draw. Scoring. Knocker scores. The knocker scores the difference between their opponent's Deadwood and their own. For example, a knocker has 7 Deadwood points. The opponent has 20. The knocker scores 13 points. In this case, the loser neither makes points nor loses them. The knocker was successful and they're the only person who makes points. The loser has a chance to mitigate their loss by laying off cards. If I was the knocker, they would see if any of their Deadwood could work with my matches or sets. They can lay off those cards into mine and they're no longer counted as penalty points, which the winner would get. For example, I knock with 7 Deadwood in my hand. My opponent had 30, but they can add this queen and jack to my hearts run, leaving them with just 10 Deadwood. So I get 3 points rather than 23. Lucky for them. Gin bonus. Going gin earns a 25-point bonus, plus the opponent's total Deadwood. Here, I'd get 25 points for going gin, and 56 more points for my opponent's Deadwood. Again, they don't get the chance to lay off their Deadwood if gin is achieved. Undercut bonus. If the opponent's Deadwood is lower than the knocker's, the opponent scores a 25-point bonus. Plus, they get the difference in points, not the knocker. For example, I knock with 9 points of Deadwood left in my hand, but they only had 7 points of Deadwood. Because I knocked with too much Deadwood, they get 2 points for the difference in our Deadwood, plus 25 points for undercutting me. I get nothing. Note, the Deadwood is calculated after laying off, so even if the knocker had less Deadwood before the layoff, they still could be undercut after the layoff with points going to the other player. Big gin bonus, which is when a player completes their hand with 11 cards, no discarded needed. Some people play that there's no bonus for this, and some people like me play that there's an additional 25-point bonus. Decide what you want to do. In typical play, the first player to get 100 points or more wins. There are no universal point rules in Gin Rummy. These are just my suggestions, as perfect as they are. Make sure everyone agrees on the rules before you get started. Gin Rummy is a perfect balance of luck and skill. Strategic discarding, paying attention to what your opponent picks up, and knowing when to knock are key elements to mastering this game. It's fast-paced, competitive, with endless replayability, making it a classic for a reason. Please like, share, and subscribe to help this channel grow. You are great. See you next time on Playing Games.